And welcome back to the ESL Pro League. We have one map down, one more to go in this series, and then of course another game to follow this. But Train coming up next between EnVy and NIP. What are your thoughts, Anders, initially here? Because we saw the first game, it was unique, special.
Yeah.
A variety of emotions were had by you during that, but...
all of them banned. Just different...
I didn't want to specify, but I'm glad you did.
Just different versions of... Actually, this match was not... It
wasn't that bad.
It wasn't as awful as some of the other days, but...
True.
I think just because EnVy was showing us a little bit, especially on the second half, I mean, Train could be more interesting. I think NIP are as strong on Train as they are on Cash. So if the trend continues, it could be a sort of fun game, I think.
Yeah. EnVy don't have a great record on here either, though, just to clarify.
No.
This is not a pretty map for them historically.
Yeah, but we don't really want to watch their history too much. So they are changing up so many things. We saw tendencies like them double saving, something we don't really see them do a lot, which is good. You know, they really want to, instead of getting the Tech 9s, they actually want to have actual weapons to work with and a lot of nades to work with, which is sort of part of the meta.
It's nice to see them kind of coming back to the light, I guess, after their time in the Badlands.
But I still think NIP is going to be too strong, even on Train. I mean, they've shown some form, really proper form on occasions where we thought, all right, this could be a matchup where they'll probably not win Train. Though they did lose against Godsend in a pretty epic overtime match in Malmö recently. But at the same time, they won like Navi and Astralis on a map. So it's going to be tough. It's still going to be super tough for EnVy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're EnVy, you're just, I guess, coming in with the mentality of, well, we need to do what we can, try and put up a good performance, learn our lessons from this, keep trying this new style that maybe we're incorporating into it. And, you know, really it must be frustrating for them because knowing that you're probably not going to get the win out of it. But, again, the mentality they have to come in with surely is already in their minds by now.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, just because of the lack of... I mean, in some ways, there is a lack of pressure on them. I'm sure that Mike from EnVy has been already talking to them and saying, you know, don't beat yourself up about these games, you know. That's obviously not worth it to sort of lose too much focus. And obviously now with the new player and everything as well, like there's just so much going on this team right now. So in some ways, I think it's just a question of them. Like, I mean, I think Semler said it during the cast. He just meant it for NIP that they could just almost use this as a bit of practice, you know. EnVy could too, and just to try and see what they can make work. And Train is a map, I think, where you know, do we have like... What team comes to mind for you, Nato, if I say, like, you know, the ultimate, like, Train team? There are obviously teams that are better than others, but it seems like no one has really claimed Train for themselves. You remember when Nuke was still in the rotation, and you knew you were never going to play the Danes, and you were never going to play Nip or Nuke, ever. The only two teams that ever played Nuke were those two teams against each other, almost.
Well, it's always the back of your head is Virtus Pro, obviously, you know. The Plow on Train, but they've been a bit of up and down recently. But I guess still in the back of your head, you'll still think it's Virtus Pro's territory.
Yeah, so maybe VP. So I mean, someone could maybe sort of try and make Train their own and say we're just going to be so good on this map that no one will ever pick it against us.
And the irony being, I remember speaking to NBK when Train kind of first came into the map pool and kind of just first got introduced, and they were still in a pretty decent position at that point. EnVy, obviously prior to Devil coming in and all these changes coming around. It was more the fact they actually said they really liked the map. They really enjoyed it, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe down the line they did put some time in, maybe try and claim it as their own. But I think we've all had our thoughts. Quick predictions, actually, before we do go. You guys stick to what you said earlier?
Yeah, it's going to be NIP, but it could be close.
Could be close. Now you've seen the first map, are you sticking with your probably EnVy?
I think I fixed the universe by predicting EnVy to win the first map, so I'm just going to go with them again. Okay.
All right, so he's having faith. He doesn't care anymore. It's all gone. It's all... Yeah. Jesus Christ. All right, on that note, we need to get away from these two because it's all going downhill. Let's head over to the casters to bring it back up again. Mitch and Semler, take it away.
Yeah, well saved, Lauren. I was told during the break that Natu does like to whip her good. He was very, very vocal about that one. But
to whip her
whip
good?
it good, whip it good.
I was about to say, what happens in the ESL office does not need to be made public here, bro.
Let's not be too specific about that one. All right? Whatever floats his boat, that's all I'm saying. Look, we saw that last map.
X-nay on the ipping way, like, stop.
I mean, you said, even in the break as well, you were reasonably pleased with what we saw from EnVyUS there as well on occasion, how they were starting to mix things up a little bit. On Cash.
Okay. Yeah, on Cash.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Again, any initial thoughts from you going into Train as well? And we heard from the analysts as well, but you've been pretty vocal about these two, especially EnVyUS as of late. And what are your thoughts here?
I kind of expect to see a little bit more of the same. Obviously, I think NIP are going to win the map. Whether it's going to be as decisive, I'm not sure, because NIP, they're good on Cash. It's their best map. They have everything ironed out. Yep. They look super solid on it. Train is still a map that's like under construction for them, similar to Envy. I just don't think that it's to the same extent as Envy, right? Envy, they're literally overhauling everything, right? You know, it's like the rusty pickup truck. Eventually it'll look like a hot rod, but it isn't quite there yet, right? With NIP, they just, maybe they drove through some mud. And so they just gotta like, take the hose out, a bit of the shine, all that sort of stuff. It's fine. So I still have to favor NIP pretty handily, but we just have to keep a close eye on, like what Envy are doing, especially if they start CT side, which it looks like they might be. That's going to be really fascinating to see who's taking which position and why.
Oh yeah, we had the knife earlier on, so we are into it. So again, it's a lot the way you put it. For NIP, it's more of just a nice car wash. For EnVyUS, it's pimp my train by the sounds. It's
exactly.
Was a pistol round for EnVyUS as well, and we do see the Nova again making an appearance here for Apex, who is.
Wait, that was the pistol?
Yeah, yep.
Well, my bad. Dude, cut me off next time. I thought we were still in warm-up over here. Like,
that's fine. Plenty to say. That's what I like. Anyway, it's going to be Forrest and Getrod actually started things off here for NIP, who already, again, salvaged 2 of these weapons that make life hard for EnVyUS. It's just Devil left now with the UMP, and this is an atrocious anti-eco, really, for EnVyUS.
It's just a nightmare sort of situation, man. What the hell are you going to do when you have 3 Tech 9s running at you full force through Ivy?
Yeah.
That's why Ivy is also a nightmare position to play on this map, because you're focused on A main, and you're focused on pop top. I mean, you're focused on all these different angles depending on how far you push out towards the site, but then you always have to worry about your back. And then if you're just off on your timing with your peek into Ivy, they could be right on top of you. It's a nightmare sort of spot to play. They can just get the jump on you every time. So sucks for Envy. Sucks that they weren't able to keep it together for this second round, but also, great call from NIP. They're just like, actually, let's just go super aggro, run at the guys. We got the Tech 9s. Let's just keep the pressure up. And there we go. They actually get that round. Envy, because they're in a double eco scenario, this time around will not be skimping on their money. They are going to go for the force right back into it. But again, double eco scenario, Kenny isn't fully investing in this round. He's skimping just a little bit, so he's trying to get that op. It's not bad. It's not bad from Envy.
I feel like I make it this one at least now. Pit already aggressively coming forward here as well. Again, back and forth spray, but he's going to be caught out by Kenny, the man aforementioned, who was just sitting around the corner. Is going to take him down, and the grenade comes in timely from Getrod to clean him up now as well. Still plenty of guns up here for NIP, and they are just slow rolling it over towards A as NBK realizing no one's going to be testing Ivy. Gets involved in the fight in the middle, and Getrod just escaping.
Yeah, and Getrod just going ham. He will get shut down by Happy in the end with the help of NBK. But 3 players are still alive here for NIP. This should not be a situation that Envy can win, let alone get on that bomb. The bomb is planted out in the open for NIP. And so this should be pretty clear cut. And it changes up the angle. Nice little adjustment there made by Freiburg in case NBK was pre-aiming that the same spot.
And all the time in the world just to make that adjustment and peek up. And it's another scout kill for Freiburg. Again, still 3 down for NIP in that round, so that little bit of a force there for EnVyUS, getting them a little bit. But again, now you're probably thinking they're going to be a bit more sensible about this next round.
Hard eco. Hard eco. Yeah. Do not. I mean, Happy is fine. He should be rifler, so he can invest $300 into this round. The rest of them should be hard ecoing, and so yeah, that's fine. Kenny's still just trying to prioritize. Him getting a kill with the CZ kind of sucks because you only get $100 for a kill with the CZ. Yep. So it's not as good for him. I would like him to go for like a P250 or even a 5.7 just so that he's not, gimping his economy that way. But yeah, still. Envy, hard eco, no surprise. Would have liked to see a flash picked up as well on top, just to have some kind of option to go for some aggressive play. But in the end, it's just EnVyUS waiting to die.
You saw NIP there with the double HE nade over towards Boiler, just in case we did see Envy actually get aggressive or push one of those players off that B site. Again, exists now as well. Will eventually decide to make his way through. Whether it's Pop Dog or into Boiler is the real question here now. Is NBK pushing up a little bit further than we often see, of course, just with that pistol. If he can get the jump on a player in Ivy, he'd be laughing. But he might have his hands full at this stage. We may even see that execute come in a few moments. Slower start from NIP.
Yeah, this is NIP not wanting to walk into a trap. So they're just taking their time with it, and then they're going to use their nades. They still have 3 Molotovs as well to check the likely angles. A little bit of miscommunication, perhaps, on NIP's side there. I think 2 smokes went into the same spot, so that's a little concerning. But Apex will get caught, and this should all go according to plan. Kenny is using the smoke against NIP, though. He's lurking on the site. He might be able to get the drop on somebody, but Pyth is able to just back off just in the nick of time. And instead, it's going to be NBK lining up the shot. Just like, I got so many options.
Thinking about it.
I got so many options. Which one do I go for?
He's taking his time. Unfortunately, him being careful might just work against him. It is Freiburg will come through and clean him up. And Devil in brown halls now as well, a long way from the action and not a heck of a lot to do, but he may as well go for something ideally getting the jump. Just to check.
At this point, Devil, it's like you've got a P2K. You're probably not going to get a kill. So that's actually what he's thinking. It's almost like small little edges, right? If I don't die to them, they don't get $300. Because the likelihood of him getting a kill against 5 full health rifle-bearing opponents, it's pretty slim. So actually, just stay away. Make sure that NRP can't kill you. They don't get $300, and that's actually fairly nice in the end. There we go. So now we get to see what's actually going to happen here. Kenny has enough for the AWP. That's good. He managed his economy well enough to be able to afford that and a smoke on top. And then the rifle's following it up. No kit picked up for Envy. That's going to be a little frustrating.
Yeah, that and double with the glass cannon nature of Kenny as well. So man has to just be a little bit careful. We see plenty of those tricky stack nades into your common AWP positions on this map. And we actually see a bit of presence down Ivy now for NIP.
And of course, NBK is playing the spot. All right. So NBK, it's all going to be coming down to timing for him, basically, when he senses it, because NIP are going for a similar strategy that they used in the pistol round, in the second round, rather, the second round force. 3 guys over here by Alley, and they're all just waiting to say hello to NBK because they love him just so much.
Well, NBK knew he wouldn't be able to get back in a closer position there as well, so it might just be a pop flash and try his luck at this stage. He had a grenade in his hand. He's going to be caught by the nade, actually, in the end, but Get Right can just step forward with the free time he had and just get that spray down. And 2 guns left here for EnVyUS. Really, unfortunately, just getting pretty well rolled over the top of over an A, and you can see Devil and Happy again are probably just going to stick together and try and hang on to these rifles.
That's just a tough break. NBK not expecting. I mean, this is what we're talking about, though, right? Just like you can turn away for, what, 30 seconds, 20 seconds? He wasn't playing hard on Ivy. Come back and Get Right's already there waiting for you. So he's like, okay, with that flash, if they're pushing up, then I'll flash them, then I can get my smoke down, and then, you know, it's all good. You know, we're all good. I can stop them there. Get Right was like, nah, bruh. Sit down.
Yeah, he actually,
time for a night.
Again, creeped a long way forward, like he did on B-side in Cash, actually. So Happy there as well. Not a snowball's chance in hell there, and every single one of those guns are ripped from the grasp of Envy, and NIP put another one on the round as well. Remember, we saw EnVyUS, they went for a force, then just pretty much a clean eco, and neither working out really when we came to the combination of that in the gun round. It was NIP not even losing a play there. That's pretty darn dominant to start things off on this T side for them.
Yeah, no, this is excellent. Look at the money for them. It's just, they can buy for days. There's no pressure on NIP. The pressure is on Envy now because unlike Cash, you don't really want to allow the T side to get too far ahead of you on train. It shouldn't really be an 8-7 map or a 9-6 map. Like, it should be 9-6 your way. So EnVyUS, this next buy round, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to deliver. So that's what they're thinking of. And they're going for the gamble again. They put 4 players rather over on the A site. Devil alone on the B site. Well, NIP, they haven't really made up their mind just yet as to where they want to go, but Exist is starting to poke his nose around over here towards Brown Halls. So might make you think that this is going to wind up being a B play.
Devil actually might be showing himself in a few moments here as well. He may have heard some sound as he's made his way up and upper here, but no one from EnVyUS has made any attempt to actually get in position at B. So this is what you want as NIP. I guess that extra player over at A in this case is actually Apex, who pushed down Ivy this round. That's why he's not here.
Flash, no flash. You have the nades, just be thorough. Molotovs, flashes, anything. That's a little unfortunate for Forest.
However, for EnVyUS, it's pretty darn handy now. It's given Happy the time he needs to get to this side as well. So he'll be there. So is NBK. And NIP losing the element of surprise now. Just have to get down and dirty with it. And then Devil's going to be sent packing. Happy and NBK sitting towards the back of the side. NBK, for the most part, had to try and work around those smokes. And Kenny is trying to be a little bit cheeky. He's going to get gunned down along with Apex. And it is going to be just 2 here for NIP to kill. And it was NBK to fall. Leaves only Happy with his deagle. And a dream, probably a very, very far away one. He's just going to try and get maybe something at the end of this round.
Nice. So he gets a shoulder peek. He spots somebody. So there's some information to go off of now. Get Right and Pyth, they really shouldn't be even getting anywhere near him, and they are backing off. So that's the smart thing to go for here. They know that Happy has a deagle. No reason for them to chase, no reason for them to risk guns. Instead, they run across to the other side of the map. So very well played here by NIP. Despite the mistake with Forest, yeah, that was about as good as it gets. Just good after plant positioning and then locking it down, making sure that you manage your weapons. You know, obviously it's just like, well, you know, maybe Forest didn't know that. I mean, this is just, if all of your teammates are behind you like that, you could always just ask. Instead of walking into a usual lurk spot like that, you could always just ask, you know, hey, somebody flash me in, or, you know, put a Molotov there. Just use the nades. So you don't want to take any risks. The Deagle, as we can see, I mean, it just wrecks everybody these days.
Well, we've seen this attitude from NIP in the last 2 rounds as well, in the way that they played that execute on that last gun round. They aren't willing to really take too many risks. And then sometimes, I guess, some of those fringe situations might catch them out. But that was all. It's just a 1 kill for EnVyUS in the last round. They have brought up back into this one. It's double AWP as well. Happy will have himself that one as well. And he'll be over on the B site with Devil for the moment. NIP have not committed. Forest just scooping up the bomb there. As you can see, Happy now almost expecting some action. This time Pit is going to flash it, but it may not be enough as Happy has the angle on lock. And he's not even going to peek it.
Price just wanted to check and see if anybody was holding close. Because now he gets to sit and wait, exactly. Does not get caught off guard by Devil. He will eventually win that fight, but Devil did take out Get Right in the meantime. And so, 1-for-1 trade, but that was just Pyth being thorough, checking that angle. Unfortunately, Get Right doesn't survive that encounter. Happy, though, he's on the high ground and he's about to get flanked. This is a little frustrating for him.
Oh, he was on the move as well. He's not able to make the shot happen. Maybe if he just played a bit more statically, but again, NIP only having lost the 1 player are again able to push on towards this B side. It'll be Kenny's coming in for some reinforcement, but Apex now has to do the work on the site. Gets 2. Forest is just around the corner now. The bomb is down. It's not exactly smooth sailing for Apex at this stage, but great work by Kenny S. Just both covering that one angle. Now Freiburg, a bit of heavy lifting to do for the man at this stage, and Kenny S are going to send him packing as well. While the double AWP maybe not working out in terms of Happy's involvement in the round, Kenny, his timely arrival towards that B site, definitely gave Envy that upper hand.
Apex getting both kills on the site and then spotting Forrest op barrel, like around the angle. I think he just barely spot, just the tip. Saw just the tip, and that was enough for him to communicate that to his teammates, say, hey, op is there. So Kenny comes in pre-firing the angle or just pre-aiming it. Yep.
It's hard to see with the X-ray.
So yeah, it is hard to see with the X-ray, but he just sees the barrel, and that's perfect. That's great communication from Apex to make sure that Forrest can't get anything out of that spot.
So again, may even have a similar story as to what we had last game when those rounds are coming fewer and far between. But EnVyUS would like to build off of that one a little bit. Happy again has had the AWP return to him, and Devil pushing up, and again the flash coming in. That's what you want to see from NIP, and only Forest really making that one transgression. But we saw Pit last round. They're definitely checking their corners on their push towards this B side.
Yeah, exactly. And that's great, good stuff coming in from NIP. Forrest realized, okay, well, let's not make that mistake again. Now they're just being thorough. Flashes everywhere. They've got the gear advantage, so use it. $200 investment, boom, you kill off Devil, and you pretty much give your team the round because now you have a man advantage. So this is really solid work from NIP. They're being very methodical, and I love to see that.
Kenny is still uncertain if he needs to be a B at this stage. Obviously, with Devil falling so early, it doesn't really require a commitment of NIP off the back of that one. However, it does look like still B will be the one they're going to hit as well. We're going to see a couple smokes come in here as well, and a flash towards Happy, even a Molotov thrown in his direction. So nothing being spared for NIP to push this one, but Happy is untouched by all of that utility, and Forrest is definitely not. A little bit quick, a little bit of fancy footwork there. Happy at least gets himself 1. Kenny is on the site, 4v3 here, and NBK and Apex are trying to run over and get involved, but that's another from Kenny as well. Just setting up shop.
Yeah, there we go. Kenny, we're starting to see that sick form from him. But then NIP again, they've got Pyth lurking all the way up to connector. That's exactly how you have to roll with it on T side. You have to take the fight to the CTs, because if you stay bottled onto that site, you will get overwhelmed. And so Get Right, the one click onto Apex. Apex is trying to take that fight, and he spots out NBK as well. Get Right just doing work.
Shadow of doubt, because he was watching the off angle. It's a bit of a wild flick to get, but that was very clean from the man. And 6-2, I'm pretty sure EnVyUS found themselves in a similar situation in that last game, but this is rather clean.
Yeah, this is just going to be incredibly frustrating for Envy. I mean, now you have to go again, Quasi, just balance your economy out, because, NBK going for the hard force. What is this? Oh, because he was low on money, so he was just like, I'm double going anyways, boys. I'll go ahead and invest in the Kevlar. Might help him a little bit with his position as well, except that Forrest is way ready and waiting with that op. NBK.
He should just sit in the corner here, as he did a couple of rounds ago.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. They haven't spotted that yet, so he's going back to that strat.
And the question is, will he even be tested here? I mean, Forrest is diligently waiting for anyone to show from Ivy, but at this stage it won't be forthcoming as NBK is satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good... NBK is satisfied to sit and wait. He will play the long game. He's not going to be, like, impatient. I mean, I'm saying this, and obviously he would probably peak right now as I'm saying that, but 90% of the time you can count on NBK to just, play the patient long game. You can count on him. He's like your rock, basically, on this roster.
That's what we were saying earlier on as well. Mark may be happy running around getting a lot of the frags. It's been NBK with the crucial ones. Again, setting up for an execute here towards the A side by the looks of things for NIP with existing pit. Just, I think, setting Pop Dog at this stage, or at least ready to jump down there. So they'll be able to execute onto this one pretty quickly. And with MBK so deep in Ivy in that spot, he's going to have to scuttle back towards this A side and assist as the hit comes in. Kenny Esto, great opening, gets one. Second will be wishful thinking, and Forest is going to clean up Apex.
But now MBK is going to be pushing in for the flank. Forest should be aware of this, though. Yep, sees him coming, but he doesn't win the duel. Beautiful work here from MBK, making it a bit more expensive. But they do get that bomb plant down, and Freiburg is in position to hold off this A main push. MBK, though, is just not going to be denied. He's got that AWP, and he's doing work.
You were worried about cursing him early on this round, but he gets the tag on the pit through the wall as well. It's going to make the man think twice about coming through yet another tag. Still not the kill, though, for NBK. Maybe some frustration there blooming for him as Get Right's trying to hold the fort down, and he does at least clean up Devil. So Bomb ticking away, and MBK had no choice but to come, stand, and deliver. And again, it's Get Right getting it done. To be fair, with a very similar scoreline to what we saw to him on last map. Definitely looking like he's eased into a comfortable rhythm tonight.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. I mean, he's hit that. It's tough to say, really, but, you know, throughout Malmo, Get Right, he had some off maps, but he had a lot more, you know, solid maps than off maps. So, I mean, Get Right, it's kind of like that return to form. They're just, I mean, he's such an emotional player. Like, he just invests everything. His life is CS. He's been doing it for so long, and he is one of those guys, you know, his idea of a good night sometimes is just to sit at home and learn new smokes.
Yeah. You
know, so it's just like he is constantly devoted. It's just sick to see that they've finally been rewarded after 18 months. NIP winning on home turf in front of the home crowd, everybody wearing a NIP jersey. Yeah, so he was on cloud 9 the next day, that night and the next day, just so happy.
The coming of age and the baptism of fire for NIP of the last 18 months. Definitely, well, paying dividends right now as well. A lot of people wanting to see them return to form, and it may just seem like it's happened. Not of people's wishing, but of NIP's own accord now. And it is Devil to get rolled over there a little bit. Didn't see too much of him from that round as Forest really just locking things down. Even EnVyUS trying to get aggressive and in his face. Didn't work out. And they will be able to buy up one AWP. Does Devil buy one for Happy here? Or? No. No, just the one.
Just the one. Happy's probably not feeling the op right now. Every time, he's just not having any impact with it. Kenny, though, I mean, Kenny, you always want to have Kenny with the AWP.
Yeah.
And so you should. This is something that, you know, it's always been a little frustrating for me. Na'Vi have like kind of gotten away from it, but they used to go for a lot more force buys that would limit Guardian and not allow Guardian to get his AWP as often. And that was always the problem with Envy, or at least the problem, right? You know, just this question that they have is, okay, if we're a team that's built around force buying, but we have one of the best operators in the world on our roster, how do we balance that, right? And it seems like finally, you know,
it's
Envy...
contradictory, really. Yeah,
they're coming into it where they're starting to allow for Kenny to just prioritize that op. Now they just need to start building their game around him with that op.
Well, MBK this time at least gets to interact with some players at Ivy. He was sat there patiently from the start of the round, and the Molotov, even with Get Right pushing ahead of it, it's going to be able to spray that man down. And now Forest dicing with death a little bit there as well. Missed the shot, just gets away with his life and straight up towards the top of the car, but he just swings from one kill to another like vines. But he will eventually be shut down by Apex, but Pit is going to get involved.
And the flank, beautiful work. It's all on Double Walk now, rotating over 1v2, but they do maintain that man advantage in IP. They bring it back their way. So now it's all about Devil and the element of surprise. The way that it works on this A site sometimes, it's as dumb as, oh, you're looking the wrong way and I came around that corner.
Yeah. Those late round or after plant scenarios on Train are always pretty interesting. Speaking of which, though, there's been no plant yet. It wasn't necessary there, Pit. Able to mess Devil up real good there. And I mean, NIP have won, EnVyUS have won one round in the last 10 here as well. That's very, very telling. It's very much ninjas all over it at this stage. Look at the money they've got as well. Just an incredible amount of buffer, allowing them maybe to go for some risky stuff. No automatic sniper yet for Pit, but it's possible.
Always you know, a possibility, no doubt. They've just got mad cabbage right now. Not EnVyUS, again, they are just, you know, putting in work right now. I love to see it. They don't go for the force buy here. They've just got the double Kevlar. Quasi-buy coming through here with the pistols. NBK gets spotted this time, so he was trying to see if Forest was waiting for him. Just with those shoulder peaks. And now it's the stack on A. 4 players here. And in case NIP try and go for the smoke round again, this time around, EnVyUS, they're pushed all the way up. One in Pop Dog. Apex now camping A main. NBK's there to get Apex's back. Not going according to plan. Holy, though. Get right.
Yeah, had 2 players there. I think Freiburg was ready with the spray transfer, but ultimately it wasn't really necessary And just 2 left for EnVyUS here as well. Happy at least has himself on A, but Devil had pushed into brown halls and he's not going to be involved for quite some time, and he has to kind of stay. They have to split the map for a moment as NIP are yet to properly commit. Now, though, the alarm bell should be ringing out as Freiburg will fall. Happy, though, left with 4 points of health, and it's going to be impossible for him to get anything else off the back of that. And Devil, does he want to give any more money away? Try for something with this Deagle. Maybe a cheeky fadeaway frag and hide for the rest of the round might be okay.
I do like the setup from Envy. I mean, it didn't work per se, but had NBK had a rifle there, he would have got the kill onto Exist, and then it turns into a 1v1 between him and GetRight. So, I mean, there are ways of making that work. But we just aren't going to see it in this round, obviously. But it's just, you know, I like the thought behind it. They were prepared for NIP to go for the smoke execute, which is, you know, NIP have been running that strat quite a bit here, so it's a good call. They're just more lacking firepower.
It's interesting what you can see when you read between the lines, even if a team that is struggling, if you can, you know, get a glimpse of the discipline or, you know, what's being required of them now as well to find a new footing or maybe a different style or even just brush up on their old style. It's 4 players in towards A right now for EnVyUS here, so Devil will be that lone man in B. And again, he's pushed up a fair way. I won't commit to it too much here as well, as GetRight should keep MBK under the thumb, or at least keep him busy for a little while. There's smoke there as well for him. No backup from teammates, so maybe we won't see this real aggressiveness from him now. It's just through the smoke, and NBK definitely coming off second best in that little exchange.
Yeah, this is sick from NIP. They're putting GetRight over here, and GetRight's making so much noise, and because they keep going A,
oh my.
EnVyUS, you know, they're not cheating anybody over towards B. It's all on Devil, and he steps up. He gets 2 kills, and that's huge. Makes it a 3-on-3 now. Only issue here is that GetRight just needs to stay alive, and he's not going to. Not long enough, at least.
No, Devil, you said he's always put in tough spots, but he's done his job in this case now as well. Given enough time, although the bomb's gone down, the retake for EnVyUS is definitely a possibility. Apex waiting in the wings as well. Should have a chance to flank on this one and start to spot out some of these players. But Kenny S just peeking, and Forrest had the angle. Happy at the back of the side will also fall to the aforementioned, and now it's a 2v1, and Forrest may not quite have his brace just yet, but Apex now lacks the backup to really walk into this one and salvage it there. Even Forrest going for that cheeky up-close peek. And Apex just trying to mess with them here, make a little bit of sound, try and come from an unexpected angle, but he's got no kit available. Really, all he can do is try and get a kill, and Pitt is going to shut him down.
Beautiful work. And this is what happens when you're actually pushed up close to connector, the way you're supposed to be on T side once you get that plant. Default plant. So Apex actually showing up kind of flipped Nip out a little bit. They were a little scared there, which is why they came back to the site, because that bomb isn't planted for them. So if Apex is able to pick up 1 kill and then get on that bomb, if you're far away on the other side by connector, you might be able to get that defuse off, right? That's what Nip are thinking. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a dicey situation there, but NIP, off of that, they played it very well. They just played for time, kept falling back, and Apex, he couldn't achieve anything. So that's it's still solid. I do like NIP, though, with the fake. They're like, well, we keep going A. We've trained them to cheat that extra player over onto the A site. Let's now go for the very quick, you know, push onto the B site and see what they've got in store for us. So, threat, great call, or just great timing on the call.
Yeah, a decoy thrown out there as well, possibly from EnVyUS. Not really sure at this stage, but Happy has snuck over back towards B at this stage, but NIP not convinced. You see a lot of those nades, just the dunk nades coming in as well, just to clear these spots out. Knowing the Devil likes to play up close and personal sometimes, Freiburg going to have to get traded out there as Kenny finds him with a FAMAS. Almost biting off more than he could chew there, I feel, as Forrest was waiting around the corner, but just going to have to take a back seat to that one as that bomb is being ferried in that B direction. For now, it's just Devil there as well. Forrest might be able to keep a few more EnVyUS players in his vicinity and leave Devil on his loan for a little longer. And Happy will come and help him out here. He's going to smoke upper. Going to stop the push coming through, though, as Devil is flashed up, and he's going to be in a bit of trouble in a few moments, but he managed to get the win out on towards Pitt, and existing GetRight didn't actually push it all then as well, so he got a 1v1. He will fall, though.
He goes for the peek to confirm, and now Happy's going to charge right through. Oh, and it works out for him at least a little bit. Happy will get the 1 kill, but GetRight partially flashed, not full flash, is able to actually save the day.
To be fair, Nip at least can put the brakes on when things are getting a bit hectic and know to head back over towards A now, and NBK has to work his way through here from connector with just a CZ. Multiple targets showing themselves. It's like whack-a-mole, and unfortunately not the high score for that man today. 12-2. We said we might have seen something a little bit different than that last map, and some things have been the same, but this is definitely even more of a blowout than we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and if you were expecting anything else, well, I mean, sorry, right? I mean, NIP right now, they're the polished roster. It's Envy who are just undergoing a lot of change, and so, you know, the scoreline, yeah, sure, the scoreline is 12-2, but I'm still not super disappointed in what I'm seeing from Envy right now.
It's almost like we're more interested in the narrative, I guess, that's actually overshadowing this whole game in terms of where these teams are at the season, you know, what they're really playing for and what the internal developments are as well. Freiburg Gonna have to extinguish that one at his feet. Doesn't really fancy becoming fast food today. And EnVyUS again just playing this one out slowly. Devil on B. Apex actually in Pop Dog, I think, to receive any sort of jump down as well. So, you know, 3 Famases, and they've gone with a 570 obviously in this last round of the half. So they have a little bit to work with. Just not a lot of utility.
No, yeah, exactly. They're light on the nades, and that's going to be a little frustrating for them. It seems to me like NIP, though, they're going to be getting ready to go back to what's worked in the past, which is the 3 players over by Ali. Exist by Pop Dog, and Pyth will eventually rotate over to A main after clearing out Brown Hall. So just making a little noise up here, keeping them honest.
Yeah, you see the flip.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not the perfect spot.
Well, a little bit of team damage there as Pit just peeks his toes over the edge into some of that bullet fire. And Apex going incredibly low from that one as well. It's funny how much it can cost you just one little bit of your foot hanging out around the corner. But now, EnVyUS pretty much stacked up on this one line that GetRight's looking down. He does get the first one, but Kenius at least is there for the trade. It's going to be back and forth, though, as well, and probably not in favour of the Frenchman at this stage, as NIP have control of the site. Forest can plant here as well, and Apex actually had the element of surprise. Thought he'd be surrounded, but it looks like Pit wasn't ready for him. He'll have to fall nonetheless, but Happy's still going to get there. Going to get involved, gets another one that taps through. Working out nicely, but Forest again in smoke with an AWP as well. Now just going to back away. Just maybe just deal with his after plant. Again, it's Devil and Happy. Wanted to try and surround out, but Forest says, well, we'll get the shot down towards 3, and it's just going to be Devil now as well. He might just be trying to stick this one at this stage, or has he not found the bomb? No, he just wants to get some clean-up duty done, and he does. A little bit close for comfort, but at least EnVyUS get that one round before exiting the half.
I'm going to break your heart here, mate, but I don't think he has the time.
Surely.
Oh man, it's okay. He does. A second. He had an extra second.
That would have been seriously rough.
That would have been so depressing if I thought I could. And I was like, oh, he's right on the edge, right on the edge.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Halftime. It's 12-3 here. It's definitely very convincing. T-side coming out from NIP there as well. And while we talk about EnVyUS, you know, we're obviously seeing a bit of silver lining here for them for the most part as well. But their biggest problem, Semler, what was it? What's this 9-round deficit made of?
Oh man, it's a bit of a complex issue because they're all working on. I mean, they aren't as. It seems like they aren't as familiar on this map right now, Envy, as they were on Cash, and because they've changed up a few of their spots. NBK holding, you know, solo Ivy still seems to be getting used to that because he got caught off guard a lot of the times. And if you get caught, like that's why Envy. I mean, that's why NIP. It's a really brutal strat that they're going for. If they're putting 3 guys over in Ivy. Getting control of Ivy as T basically weakens all of the rest of the spots on that A site because then they have to worry about getting sandwiched from Pop Dog and A main and then Ivy, right? You're just getting crunched on if you're holding on the A side at that point if you're on the CT side. So right now I think Envy need to find that balance where maybe, you know, NBK, he can't be that rock. You need to kind of help him out a little bit and they need to figure out how to help him out a little bit that makes sense for the team.
Especially with GetRight. Just feeling so comfortable on this map so far, and again he continues the trend. NBK and Upper is just caught easily, and even though Freiburg jumps straight into the fire and flames and falls, there's still going to be Forest there for support as well. So even with EnVyUS, all these players here, the bomb is down at least, and it's going to be that retake again coming out from NIP. They get the clean up, they'll get the finish, and they'll get the defuse as well. Losing the pistol round here for EnVyUS is pretty much going to be nasty. It's not going to be a close one, I think, at the end of this one, as NIP look to try and finish this one off fairly shortly.
Yeah, and you can't really, I mean, sometimes as well, it just sucks to be you because you've turned into GetRight's punching bag tonight. He's at 24-4-7 right now, 16 rounds into the goddamn game. Like, yeah. What is this guy? He's just hitting everything.
I don't know too many players that are going to be able to come out on top in a lot of those situations when he is firing. Just seems to want to go for the audacious plays as well. You saw him even just walking ahead of the Molotov inside Ivy, setting up in these really cheeky little spots. He just seems to be a bit more creative tonight. The juices are flowing and he's floating around the map. But here's EnVyUS obviously going to quasi this one with a few pistols. There's Tech-9s in the mix. See if they're trying to rush on this side or how it's going to be responded to here at this stage. Good nade though, that's really hurt them. But Apex are actually able to pick up on towards Pit, and Freiburg having to dodge away, lest more damage come his way. It's Forest very, very low here. And EnVyUS, this is the same thing we saw in IP do. Get onto the side with those Tech-9s. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, just rush. Keep the pressure on, never really stop. And Forrest is lurking right on the edge of this smoke. Is it going to work out that he catches Happy off guard? Yes, he will. Sneaks his way right in behind him, gets the kill. And now it's all about GetRight, the maestro himself. He sees that nade, so he knows that the man is coming around the angle. Easy kill for him. And now we're into a 2-on-2. GetRight has the kit. He has the HP, but they have no nades to work with here, Nip, so it's definitely not over.
Yeah, Devil on that little cheeky boost spot as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be cheeky enough. GetRight almost seeing straight through the veil there and picking him off, and now it's just NBK around the corner with the CZ. Even he can't do anything. Again, a similar story for NBK going up against Get Right himself. 3 kills for him that round, and you know, it looked pretty good to start with. The rush on towards that site for EnVyUS, but just deconstructed slowly but surely.
I can't help but have a smile on my face right now. But I mean, that's also okay. You know, Get Right. You may think like, how does he know that NBK's there? Because Devil was boosted. So, you know, it's not like Get Right's rocking wall hacks or anything like that to just run in there and just pre-fire NBK.
Reasonable.
But, you know, Devil doesn't get up there alone, right? So, but it is a real pleasure to watch Get Right playing this well, because there's always that comment, right, where it's like, you know, everybody else is playing checkers, you know, and Get Right's playing chess. And to see a return to form like that, it's nothing but good.
Well, 2 kills, quick ones coming out here for NIP to start things off. Just losing Forest, and you know, Pit will be able to mow down, of course. Again, EnVyUS had to force into this one, maybe against their better judgment, as it has been lately. It's just classily through the smoke. He's going to be able to spray NBK on down. He even thinks about Happy as well, who takes a smattering of damage. It's a 1v2, though. After all that action, NBK managed to get himself 3 for the round, but it's not going to be enough, and it is match point coming up here. NIP are on the precipice. I mean, they're pretty much secured the top spot in the league. Their run home is pretty comfortable. It will be Envy and then G2 next. So if they keep playing like this, it should be a clean sheet for the remainder of the season.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. There's no doubt right now that NIP are in a very, very good form. I mean, they're looking on point. Get Right. I mean, obviously it helps when you have a player going ham, but for the rest of the team as well, it's not looking too shabby. Nice flash, perfect timing. It's going to break up the rhythm there.
Oh, my. This is very, very nasty. Forrest just in the best spot to catch as well. Happy moving around the corner, and NBK thinking about ending it all right here, right now, and he is. It's going to be done. NBK, at least with a bit of humor at the end of it. It's going to be NIP, far too strong, even stronger than we saw them on Cash there. And EnVyUS, like I said, rebuilding slowly but surely, seeing some signs of maybe change or a little bit of an adjustment there, but against a top-level team like NIP seems to be right now, Sam, where it's just not going to cut the mustard. No,
not at all. I like that NBK. He's showing a little bit of a Japanese side there, not let himself get captured or killed. Ends it honorably. There you go. But, I mean, yeah, after that, I just, you know, it's like, okay, obviously Envy got blasted out of the server, but you know, there is a silver lining in they are changing up their positions. They are actually putting in a lot of work right now, it seems, and that's just going to take time. Train is a very complex map. There's a lot of different angles that you need to be worried about, and all the way that you progress there is by communicating with your teammates and figuring out, okay, if I'm in this, it's just work. If I'm in this position, where are you? Okay, so then I know in the game live, if I'm watching this angle, my teammates got my back, and then everything falls into place. But that takes time. You have to sit there and grind that out with your team, and so Envy, they have a month and a half now, month plus until they're on the next LAN. It's like this whole month is basically needs to be them sitting down and figuring out questions like that. If you know, if I'm watching this spot, where are you? The buddy system, that's what has to work here.
And there's plenty of time, at least, as you said, for Envy to work on those things. And on the side of NIP, again, just one more game left for them. It's going to be up against G2 next week, and they have pretty much solidified that top spot. So congrats to them. But now let's pass over to our desk to break that one down a little bit more.
I don't know how much we can break down, guys, because yeah, that was a little bit one-sided.
Yeah, now I actually just wish that Envy hadn't remembered this password to the Steam account. This would have been better for everyone, I think.
You know what my assessment from that match was? I don't think Train is one of the maps that Envy's been working on yet.
Yeah, I don't think they've gotten there. I know we had this lovely theory crafting, oh, they could make that map their own. They could put all this time in.
Yeah, that's actually true.
They just,
how ironic that turned out to be.
It was a bit of a whipping, and it didn't even excite Nati. So
maybe the strategy is to be so bad on it that people will not play it just out of pity. Just, you know, say this is not fair. You know, we're just not going to do it. It's not reasonable.
Yeah, Assembler was talking about buddy system. There's a lot of situations where trades were just not possible. You saw Devil taking a very aggressive spot on CT, lower ramp, got totally blinded, and no way of escaping, no one to help there or anything like that. So these kind of individualistic choices they make that they're not gonna pay off, especially against a team like NIP right now, who's really polished. They do everything by the detail, and they will really punish you in that situation.
Yeah,
with a whip.
It wasn't a pretty picture. Probably for anyone to watch. It just wasn't a nice game. If I'm, oh god, what now? You've got the face. You've got the face. What?
I do want to pick up on that. I do have a face.
It's the face. There's a certain face.
I was just gonna say, we know Threat has the whip. Who's whipping Envy? Maybe this is the key to being, you know, a good coach. Just bringing that in there.
Well, it wasn't Maniac, was it?
Maniac just doesn't seem like the whipping type.
No, it's too kind.
He's very friendly. He's Swiss as well. They're not going
Exactly.
to be whipping anybody.
Germans,
are they?
on the other hand, there's, you never know what you're going to get with that lot. They maybe need someone like that to come
Threat
across.
did spend like 2 months in Japan, and
That's
you know
true.
they get into some freaky things. So
See, this is what happens when I'm Desk Coast, apparently. It really just...
it could be.
Nosedives.
I won't rule anything out at this point here. Yeah.
No, who knows what's happening? Maybe that's the secret of how Threat is getting these guys into shape.
Seriously though,
But yeah, back
on a real serious note, there really aren't that many coaches that seem to have had like a real impact on the game, and Threat's obviously one of them.
Yes.
I think Starix has to be like another obvious choice.
Yep.
But I mean, it is kind of interesting. Someone should do some real in-depth sort of digging into how if they made it work so well.
I think it's still an evolving concept. I think it needs in the future it needs to be more like a coaching team. You want to have your analysis guy on the side who's going to crunch all the numbers that the head coach can utilize then into actual gameplay.
Yeah, I guess it takes just the support of the organisation as well to be able to implement that. And I'm sure that's not completely unfeasible for some of these teams. It's not like they're short on cash at the moment. There's a lot of money going around the scene that they could probably invest. That's just a beautiful picture. I'm sorry you had to look at my face and not him making it rain. It's just, there we go, back again. Gifts are plenty from today. But yeah, so there's obviously chances here. And Envy, I do hope maybe they get their own version of Threat to come across and maybe help them out on this, because Train was not a pretty picture. Cash, there was a little bit more going on there. We saw some potential, clearly something they had been looking at and working on. But again, that was the first game done. Not a pretty picture for Envy overall. NIP, however, solidified things at the top. They get even more points to start building off. But of course, guys, there is other games to come. Dignitas up against FaZe next. Another good match. Hopefully a little closer than this one. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.